Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be covering Vietnamese initials in Vietnamese phonology. I will put this PowerPoint um, as a link in the description below, so don't worry about it. And I also have included an IPA chart for reference, a link to it if you don't know IPA. But if you don't know IPA, which is the International Phonetic Alphabet, you really don't have to worry about it. I will go through everything with you, and there's really nothing super complicated about this. So the first three set of consonants that we're going to be covering are pe, be, and emma. Okay, so on the left hand side I have it in Quốc ngữ, which is the Vietnamese orthography, and on the right hand side I have it in the International Phonetic Alphabet. Okay, so we're going to start off top to bottom. Be, very similar to the English P sound. The only difference is that there's no aspiration, meaning that the extra puff of air that you feel when you say P, right? You can just put your hand in front of your mouth and you're gonna feel that puff of air when you say P, right? In Vietnamese, this doesn't really occur. Rather, there's no puff of air, but you still make the same sound, right? But most speakers actually don't really have this consonant in their inventory. When they do use this consonant, it'll actually be replaced with our next consonant, be, with the b sound. So you might hear, or you might notice that it's different than the English B sound. And the main difference is that when you say be, it's that the air is actually going into your lungs rather than out of your lungs. When you say the English B sound, the air is going from your lungs and out of your mouth. But the Vietnamese be sound is different because the air in your lungs is actually going in. So it's going in the opposite direction. And that's kind of like how you achieve that sound. If you say it with an English B, people really won't bat an eye, but you will be clocked out as non-native. And our next consonant is emma, which is the same thing as English M, ma. So these three consonants are bilabial, meaning that you use them with your two lips, and that's the reason why they are here together, all three of them. Our next set of consonants that we're going to be covering are fa and va. Okay, they're similar to the English F and V sounds, so you don't really have to think about this way too much. Very simple. Just remember that it's the fa sound is P and H in Vietnamese. And then we have three different sounds. They all cover the same area of the mouth. Your tongue is going to be in the same position. And we're going to start with TH first, actually. And it's going to be the same as the English T sound. Ta, 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 ta. Now, the difference between this and the English ta sound is that your tongue will be a little bit back in the mouth comparatively. So it's going to be on your alveolar ridge rather than where your gums and your teeth hit. Now, an example of this would be in the word te, right? Te, làm gì thế, right? And you will have this aspiration, and that's what this small h stands for, right? And that's why it's very similar to the English T. If you say the English T, no one's going to bat an eye. It's very, very similar. Now we're going to move one row up. Okay. And this is going to be te, te, te. So in this sound, it's similar to ta, right? The only difference is that there's no aspiration. There's no puff of air. So when you say this, it's gonna sound a little bit like a D, te, 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 but it's not a D. because your vocal cords don't vibrate either. So you can practice the difference between these two words by saying something like this. The first one being the second one being ta, 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 ta. Right? These are the only differences between the two, and it's just like that extra breath of air that will create the difference between the two. Now, our third consonant will be de, de. This is going to be similar to the B in Vietnamese, where instead of the air going outward, like in English, right, we're going to be making the air go inward. So it's going to go in the reverse direction. De, de, a very common word. Di will have this sound, and you'll be using it very often to indicate some kind of direction, or that you're leaving, or such and so forth. So keep that in mind when you say this. Di, di. Now our next two consonants are enna and ella. So these two consonants are actually very similar to English. They're the exact same thing. So the only difference between these two is that N just has extra air going up your nose. L instead has air going through your mouth, but it's going through the left and right sides of your mouth at the same time. L. Whereas N, the air travels up your nose. Okay, and next we have all these consonants to do. Although they're very simple, it's just basically 3 different sounds, okay? So we have ixi, which is the X, and it makes the same sound as the English S, like super crazy. And then the next one, we have the etsi, alright? So this makes the S sound in the north, and in the south, it's actually a different sound. So although some speakers may just say it as an S, right? But in the south, some speakers will have it as a retroflex consonant, meaning that the tip of your tongue will be pointing up. So instead of saying something like sa, they'll say something like sha, sha, with the tip of your tongue going up. Right? And our last set of consonants is the Z sound. The only difference between S and Z is that when you say Z, it's a voiced consonant. So very similar to English. And this is for northern speakers specifically. The R is in parentheses, era. Okay, that's what it's called. It's in parentheses because the sound is very variable. Some people in the north will say it as a Z sound. Other people will say it with a trilled R, ra, right? And then in the south, it's a little bit different. Some people may trill it, ra. Some people may say it with an R similar to English, as in Roy, right? And some people might say it with a Y sound, which is what the J here represents. It's called a yota, right? So some people may say the R with a Y sound. Now, G, I, and D, it's best to think of these as one sound. In the north, it will be a Z sound, and in the south, it will be a Y sound. Now, some speakers may differentiate the two with a GI being a Z sound, Z, and a D being a Y sound, but that's very few speakers, and it may be limited to the context of them teaching you. And that's like pretty much it. So our next few sounds, we have ja, cha, and nya. Okay? These aren't the names of these consonants, but I paired these consonants together because when you pair these up together, they will make those sounds. Now the first one, we have a T and an R. Now in the north, this will make the same sound as a CH, which is ja, 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 ja. It's similar to the English CH sound as in church, but it's not quite the same, but rather it's going to be a T sound, right? So the tip of your tongue is going to be similar to how you say a T, but the back of your tongue is going to be high up in your mouth, as if you're saying xi, right? So you combine those together and you get ja, 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 right? So, but the middle of your tongue is going to be down. And that's how you make that sound. Now, some speakers in the north and south, or all speakers in the north, will combine these two sounds, but some speakers in the south will also combine these sounds. Other people who don't combine this sound will have it as a retroflex consonant, so meaning that the tip of your tongue will be just pointed up the whole entire time, and it won't be in the position as how you would say T, right? So it would be just ja, 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 instead of ja, 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 right? Now CH, kind of covered it, ja, 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 right? Which also means wait. Very simple sound, nothing too difficult. Now, the next one is nya. If you're familiar with Spanish, then you know the enya sound. Basically similar. In English, it sort of occurs when you say the word canyon, right? But you have to say the nya simultaneously, the N and the Y sound, and you'll have this sound. It's pretty simple, might take you a while to get, but the sound is very different. Okay, and the next sounds that we have are velar sounds. So these all happen in the back of your throat. So the first sound is something like go. The second set of sounds is something like ho or ko, right? Depending on the speaker, which is the KH, right? G and GH are different. It's a fricative, meaning that it's like an F sound, fa, right? Where you have that continuous flow of air, and then you have some obstruction of the mouth. Now the only obstruction is that you're doing it with the back of your throat, right? Your tongue. And the sound that it makes is like g, 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 right? G, g, as in uncooked rice, which is gao, gao, right? Now the next sound that we have is kwa, right? Kwa, as in quick, very similar to the English kwa sound. Now in the north, it'll always be that way, but in the south, we will just have a wa sound, right? So instead of saying something like gwen, to forget, people in the south will say wen, wing, right? Wing. So that's something to remember if you're learning northern or southern. So next to you consonants, we just have NG, then we have the H. H, same thing as in English. Now, you might struggle with the NG sound. It's going to be the same NG as when you say sing, right? SING, sing. But English speakers will have trouble with this when they say it at the beginning of a word. Now, this consonant, to tell you the truth, is the same thing as when you say g in English, that G sound. The only difference is that you will have to allow for some air to go up your nose. So instead of saying g, you're going to say nga, nga, g, nga, g, nga. Those are the only two differences between those two consonants. They are almost the exact same thing. The only difference is that this is a G, where you let air up your nose. That's it. Now in this PowerPoint, we have links to other PowerPoints that also kind of display Vietnamese phonology through the Ipa chart. In a few days, or maybe next week, if you guys want me to, I can record myself and I can always just input my own sounds onto here so that you can play these yourself, or you can just watch this video again, up to you. And don't forget to join our Discord and subscribe to the channel, like this video. It really helped out a lot. And I will be covering Vietnamese vowels 1 and Vietnamese vowels 2 in the future, and I will also be covering final sounds in Vietnamese, so things that come at the end of a syllable, basically. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I can answer them in another video, so please feel free to just leave any questions below. If there are things that you struggle with in particular, I will make a video on it. And yeah, thanks for watching.